What is going on, everybody? How are y'all doing? Listen, I feel like we have not had an episode of the Manga Noob in quite some time. And that's for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I started a Charmed podcast, so that's been kind of taking up a little bit more time than I thought it would. I've been trying to get myself ready for BadCon, which is coming up. This is going to come out on Monday, so that's going to be happening this weekend after Thanksgiving. There's just been a lot. And as y'all know, I was moving over at the end, like the middle of October. So all of that happened, and then I'm gonna be traveling. It's just been a lot. And unfortunately, the manga podcast kind of fell by the wayside because, with it, okay. I have a little confession to make. When I was getting ready to come back to talk about Naruto, I was like, okay, I'm just going to watch the anime. And then I realized that that was cheating and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I'm not going to cheat and watch the anime. I'm going to read the manga just as I had said I was going to. And I am going to hold up my end of the bargain because I enjoyed reading manga so much. And you may not be able to see it fully, but behind me, I've put up my Naruto display again. I might give you a little, if you're watching the video version, of course. If you're listening to the audio version, you can't see it. But I'm trying to get back into manga because after I moved, I feel like because my books were in such disarray and they were all over the place, it was kind of hard for me to like pick back up where I left off. So it wasn't as easy as just, oh, let me go back to reading what I was reading or let me go back to doing what I was doing. It kind of turned into, okay, where did I put this? And where was I with that? And did I even have the paper copy of this? Or was I reading it digitally? There's so much disarray. So I am going to get back into it. I am going to just start with Naruto. I think that's where we're gonna, pick back up and we're just gonna stay there for a little while. I think we're gonna kind of leave other stuff off because I finished Death Note and listen, listen. The beginning of Death Note was great. The beginning, the middle, like loved it. I thought that the plan that Light was coming up with was so great. Loved it, right? And then we got to the second half. And I don't know why there was a time skip. I know that that's like an anime thing, but there didn't need to be a time skip. Girl, we got 37 episodes. We don't have time to be skipping ahead. That's number one. And then number two, when we did do the time skip, it was kind of ridiculous. So for me, I just found myself being like, okay, what exactly am I watching? What is this story? And I think it also got to be a little heavy handed for me too, because it got to a point where Light was just making stupid decisions based solely on his own need to win. And when he gave up his memories, that was bad enough. But when he got them back, I said, girl, okay, ma'am, there is no way that this man is sitting up here planning all of this like this. But somehow he was. Light Yagami was absolutely up there planning things out years ahead of time, just about. He was planning everything out to a T. He was so smart that he was about clairvoyant. And it just started to get to a point where I was checked out. I mean, truly, Misa just became like, she already, I feel like, was just a character that was there to feed into what Light had going on. But at a certain point, Misa really didn't serve a purpose. Like, they were just playing in my girl's face. I mean, anyway, I'm not getting too deep into that, but that's where I am with Death Note. So we're not going to be talking about Death Note anymore. And I was kind of trying to find another manga that we could maybe, put in the meantime. But then I realized, like, no, there doesn't need to be another manga put in. I think that we are perfectly fine with what we have. Let's just stick with Naruto for the time being, and then we will circle back and we'll try to figure out what our next manga will be, or if we even need to incorporate another one, because I want to find one that's on theme with what we have going on. Like, I want to find one that's kind of like Naruto, or at least if it's different, it's something that's going to be enjoyable to talk about, because I was enjoying A Sign of Affection, but I feel like it was so far removed from Naruto that it was like, what? It just felt a little, So That may be something that I do for like bonus content or something, but Spy Family was great, but that one definitely didn't fit in. It got to a point where I wasn't bored with it, but I was like, okay, we're doing all of this and then we're just going into, the land of waves. So hopefully, if since we're going to be able to focus a little bit more on Naruto, my hope and goal is that we'll be able to focus on more than like a couple of chapters at a time. So instead of doing like one episode where we go over like 3 or 4 chapters, maybe we can do one episode where we just talk about like half of the arc, just like go into it. I also, once we start getting into future arcs, especially the tuning exams, I definitely want to go like so here's the thing. I kind of, if I'm being 100% honest, want to go in depth when we get to the tuning exam. I really would like to do this podcast maybe like a chapter at a time, but I don't feel like that's feasible, or at least a couple of chapters, but I don't feel like it's feasible. I feel like in order to go a couple of chapters at a time, we're going to be doing like part 10 of an arc, right? So I think that as we continue forward and we move on, into new pieces, we're going to do a little bit more at a time. If there is a manga that you would like for me to talk about, one that you suggest, please feel free to let me know, whether it be on the comments in Spotify, on YouTube, whether it be something like you hit me up on Patreon, Instagram. It doesn't matter. I don't care. As long as you just let me know, what something is that might fit with the theme of what we have going on, something you think I may like, because I have started watching an anime called Mashal, I think. Marshall. And it's so it's so crazy, and I feel like I shouldn't like it, but that's kind of why I do like it, is the fact that I feel like it's so all over the place. And it's like it's basically about this young man who lives in a world where everyone has magic except for him, but there are other people that don't have magic but they get killed. And so we're watching him go to a magic school, and he is so strong that he's able to do things that people think are magic. Like, he can't fly a broom clearly, but he can kick so high off of the ground that he essentially is able to float, and then he can kick his legs so fast that he's able to float. And it's like part of me is just like, what is this that I'm watching? Because I don't know, but I think the what I want to do first, before I go any further with like even introducing that as a possibility, I want to actually finish watching it so that way I can go from there. Oh my God, another big major update. I have been watching One Piece, and I finished the Amazon Lily arc, and I'm in the Marineford arc. Listen, I started watching that because of Boa. I wanted to see Boa Hancock. Love my girl to pieces. The fact that she loves her some Luffy to the point that she loses her mind is so funny to me. And I enjoyed the Amazon Lily arc. The Marineford arc is, I don't know, it's making my nerves bad because it's really sad, but then at the same time it's kind of dragging, and I sort of want it to be over and then see what Luffy is going to get into. But if you'd like to hear me talk about that, maybe that's something we could do too. Maybe we could do like a little mini-sode every now and again. But I just wanted to come on here and just let y'all know kind of what was going on with the podcast. I wanted to kind of let you know what was happening as far as us, and our manga discussions, because the manga is not going anywhere. It's just that once I moved, everything got so displaced that it was like I'm having to figure out where I'm going to put things and what I'm going to do with them and stuff like that. So it just kind of got away from me. But we are going to be making a comeback, and I'm definitely thinking of like some mini-sodes, things like that. If that's something that you're interested in hearing, let me know, and I will be more than happy to oblige. Or maybe if y'all want some updates on what I'm watching, that would be great. I think though that in order to make this a little bit easier for me, because I have a lot of things going on and I have a lot of things kind of like that are coming up, but they're going to be finished off. And then we have a lot of things planned for Christmas over on the Patreon. So there's a lot. And so for me, I think that the best course of action is that I don't come back to this podcast until I would say at least the 15th of December. I think that's when I'm going to try to shoot for a return, just like a normal, discussion based return versus kind of like an update or something like what we're doing right now, because I need time to read the art, to finish the arc. I need time to film, to edit, all of that kind of stuff. And I just want to be able to give you something good. So, with that being said, I think we're going to shoot for December 15th to come back for our next episode, where we're going to be discussing the Land of Waves arc and our fight with Zabuza, and as it continues on. So I'll do a cute little recap or something like that, just to get you guys up and going. That's it. That's all I have. That's all I wanted to come on here for. And I thank you so much for just sticking with me through this transition period. I wanted to be open about why there hasn't been a new episode of it. So hopefully I will catch you on December 15th when we come back to continue our Naruto discussion of the Land of Waves arc. And I will see you then. And in the meantime, you can find me on YouTube. You can actually find me on Amazon Music. My Charmed podcast is on Amazon Music, the little podcast section. But you can find me on TikTok. You can find me everywhere on social media at They Call Me Mr. G. You can find my Patreon at patreon.com/powerofg. So, just hunt me down and find me, and I will always be here. Don't get me started, because I've also been watching Once Upon a Time, and I could absolutely start with the I will always find you. But anyway, I will see y'all later, and I hope that y'all have a great rest of the day. Bye.